Hey everyone, my name is Elliot and I am a 24-year-old trans guy from Adelaide. This is my first video, so I kind of just wanted to do an introduction of sorts. I was inspired to make a video by my friend Jack, who's just recently come out as well. I guess in this video I'll just talk a little bit about how I got to be here and where I am with my transition so far. So a little bit about me. I almost came out as trans maybe 5 years ago, maybe longer than that. I always had really bad dysphoria about my chest, but I didn't know the word dysphoria. I'd never heard that before, so I didn't know what it was. All I knew is I just felt wrong and weird. And the same around menstruating. I was like, this is not supposed to be happening. So there was a lot of things about my body that I knew were wrong, but I didn't have any words for that. And I didn't realize that there were other people out there that experienced the same thing. So, about 5 or 6 years ago, I discovered the online trans community on YouTube. I came across a video of a guy talking about his transition, and I was just like, oh my God, there are other people that experience the same sort of feelings that I have. And I thought, what if I'm like that? What if I'm a trans person? And I did some reading and I looked into the whole gender spectrum, and this was such a revelation for me to realize that, you know, that there are people that don't identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. It was mind blowing. So I pulled my whole family together and I was like, we're gonna have a family meeting. I've got something huge to tell you guys. And I was planning to tell them all that I'm trans and I'm going to transition. And what I was probably 19 or even younger at the time. And it just never ended up happening. I organized the family meeting and nothing came of it. And that wasn't because my family weren't supportive. It was just because I had sort of decided that I wasn't trans enough. So there were quite a few things that contributed to that feeling of not being trans enough. And one of the major things was that all the stories I'd read online, all the trans people whose videos I'd watched, they were all so sure from a very young age that they were the opposite gender, I guess, from what they were assigned at birth. So trans women who knew from the ages 3 and 4 that they were girls, and trans men who, always knew they were a boy. And I never had that as a kid. I just always had this weird, vague feeling of being wrong. And so I thought that dysphoria didn't apply to me because I didn't have this ever-present need for my body to be the opposite gender. I guess the other thing that made it really hard, or that was confusing for me, was that I'm definitely primarily attracted to guys. So I thought, if I want guys to like me, I have to be a girl, right? Because guys like girls. It's a pretty ridiculous way to think, but that was my thought process at the time. So I suppressed my gender issues a lot, and told myself that I wasn't allowed to be a guy, or I wasn't allowed to be anything less than a perfect pretty girl so that guys would like me. So it was really hard to get out of that. There's a lot of internalized misogyny going on there. And I did a lot of things looking back on that were really, not things that I want for myself, because I thought these are things that girls should do, and I'm a girl, so I have to do that, right? So it took me a long time to get out of that, and to realize that I guess that your sexuality and your gender actually have nothing to do with each other. So I can be a guy that's attracted to guys. There are a lot of guys that do that. So really only in the last 6 months or so have I actually started to address my gender issues again. I initially came out 4 months ago. It was back in June this year. I came out as non-binary. I still had this idea that I wasn't a guy, that I couldn't be a guy. So I came out as non-binary, and I was like, I need neutral pronouns. And over the months, I started exploring my identity a little bit further. I realized that I didn't really want to keep much of the femininity in my appearance, and I wholeheartedly believe that the non-binary genders have a place for both the masculine and the feminine. There's this really bad stereotype that androgyny has to be more masculine than feminine. And I completely disagree with that. I think that yeah, you can embrace both the feminine and the masculine in a non-binary gender. But I was realizing that I didn't want to keep much of the femininity about myself. The more I looked at pictures of guys, the more I realized that that's how I identify. But I had this really big internal struggle because I'm a really big feminist, and I was really scared about, I guess, being rejected from feminism. I just thought I hate hypermasculinity and dude culture and like rape culture and all this sort of stuff. I hate and detest that. And I thought, if I'm so opposed to all of that, I can't be a guy, which was a really fucked up way to think about things, because obviously you can be a guy without participating in that bullshit. So I don't know. I just had a lot of stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm not a guy. I thought I was non-binary. I realize now, definitely a guy. Some male pronouns. And I'm so blessed because I do have the most amazing support network, and I'm so grateful for that. My friends just 100% support everything I do, and my family is exactly the same. I haven't had a single negative response, and for that I am so, so blessed, because there are so many trans people who, they can't come out to their families and their friends. They're in really difficult positions, so I'm really grateful, for the privileged position that I am in. So I guess in terms of where I'm at with my transition, obviously I haven't started T yet. I see a psychologist at Shine, which is like it's like an organisation in South Australia for sexual health and gender identity and all that sort of stuff. So I see a psychologist at Shine. She's amazing. I had my second appointment with her today, and she said that normally they'll do about 5 or 6 appointments before getting the ball rolling on referrals for hormones. But I asked her, is there any chance that I would be able to start hormones before my 25th birthday, which is in January, so that's about 3 months from now. And she said that she's going to do everything she can to help me get there by then, which is so exciting. I have an appointment with the GP at Shine next week, so I've got to see the GP, who can refer me on to an endocrinologist, because the psychologist cannot refer me to the endocrinologist, but the endocrinologist needs the psychologist's recommendation. So I need a referral from the GP and I need a recommendation from the psychologist. It's this whole thing. And obviously the endocrinologist won't give me hormones on like the first time I see them, which is why we're getting the ball rolling on all of this stuff now, because there's going to be waiting lists and referrals and all this shit. So we're starting that now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, by my 25th birthday, I will have started T. I really, I'm going to be a quarter of a century. It's really old, and I've been, suppressing this shit for so long. Now that I've come out and I'm finally, embracing the person I've always meant to be, I'm so fucking impatient to get there now. So yeah, hopefully the hormones will come along soon. And hopefully there'll be many more of these videos to come throughout my transition. I'm really excited to get back into the YouTube community that I started to dabble in all those years ago. So thank you very much for watching this video. And yeah, hopefully you'll see me again soon. Bye.